A blessed and a wonderful evening to my viewers and my subscribers them. I hope everybody having a blessed and a wonderful evening. Now my viewers and my subscribers, remember, in everything you do, always put God first. In every any situation, just always remember to call upon God. Always remember to pray, because a prayer day keep the devil away. Now my viewers and my subscribers, inside this update, Angel Stevens are going to bring you some update on the Melissa Silvera case, people. You know, Melissa Silvera died about a month ago, and recently she did an autopsy, and the autopsy came back that she did not die naturally in her sleep. Allegedly, them say she died from 3 bullet wound. You understand? That means she get bullet 3 times. You understand? But me still ask the same question. How did the body leave the house without no one knowing that she was bleeding? That's the question where me ask, everybody asks, and down to the detective maybe asks as well. But people, we're going to get into all of this. But before we get into all of this, my people, I would appreciate if you all would leave a like on this video. Give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you're a new viewer, first time on my channel, then please subscribe to my channel and turn on the post notification bell, so whenever we drop new content, you will be first to be notified. Share the content and leave your opinion down below in the comment section. People, make we jump straight into the video.
Were the Silveras happy? I want to ask the question tonight. Were the Silveras happy? Is that a good question to ask? Is that a good question to ask? I got a call recently, and it is alleged that several times when Melissa appeared to visit, she had scars on her hand. It is alleged. But I further got a call today, Jamaica. And that call has me wondering. Who was the abuser in the relationship? Was Melissa Silvera being abused? Was Mr. Silvera abusive to Melissa? These are questions that must be answered. Would you agree with me, students? If you agree with me, say, wouldn't you want these questions to be answered, Jamaica? Tonight, Jamaica, it is further revealed to me that the abuser, it is alleged, the abuser in the relationship, it is alleged, was Melissa Silvera. I got a call today, and the call said, Mr. Stevens, for your information, Mr. Silvera was not the abusive one. Melissa Silvera was. And it alarmed to me, Jamaica. It alarmed to me. It was alarming to know that it is being allegedly said that the abusive one in a relationship was Melissa. It is further alleged Kevin Brown, you can leave my platform, you know. We are not here to be in any argument with you. And if you ever say anything more negative on my platform, I'm going to block you, Mr. Brown. And if you come back on this platform and I am going to block you. It is further alleged, Jamaica, that at one point in the marriage, Melissa Silvera, it is alleged, suffered from mental health issues. This is the allegation, students. So therefore, my question is, could it have been that Melissa Silvera shot herself? Could it have been that Melissa Silvera killed herself? Where were the gunshot wounds found? Where were the gunshot wounds found? I'm just saying, students, because they think we are fool. They think we are fool. Them think we are fool. Them really think we are fooling. All of a sudden, Melissa Silvera was the abusive one. All of a sudden, Melissa Silvera suffered from mental health issues. But I have another side of the question to ask, Jamaica. Could it have been that her mental health trauma came from an abusive marriage? Could it have been, Jamaica? Could it have been? Could it have been? Students, I'm going very far tonight and I want you to stay with me. Share up this live as I go further. Could it have been that Melissa suffered an abusive husband? And that abusive husband drove her to suffer from mental health trauma? I ask this question, Jamaica, because many marriages and many couples suffer in silence abuse. Many couples in Jamaica and across the globe suffers from abuse. Let me repeat that. Many couples right across Jamaica suffer from abuse. But my second series of questions is for the family of Mr. Silvera. It is alleged that Mr. Silvera's sister, it is alleged, Jamaica, that Mr. Silvera's sister renovated the townhouse, changed the tiles, removed the matrimonial bed, painted the walls. It is alleged. I want to ask myself, and you would always want to ask, why after this death, would you need to, 1, change the tiles, paint the house, change the bed, and equally renovate the house? Is there something in the house over the past month that needed to have been cleaned up? It's a reasonable question to ask. Why would his sister see the need to renovate the townhouse? Jamaica, I want to ask again. Why would the sister see the need? Jamaica, these are serious questions, you know, to renovate the house. Could it be, Jamaica, that evidences were being removed? Could it be, Jamaica, that evidences were being removed? Could it be, Jamaica? Let me ask the question. Are you finding this class boring, or are you writing down the questions? Are you writing down the questions? Because I am going somewhere, my students. I am going somewhere. And if I am going somewhere, students, these questions are very important in setting my case parameters. Students, you're not interacting with your professor. Are you writing down? Let me see those who are writing down what I am saying. Now, to you, Mr. Silvera, I want to ask you this question. Were you happy with your marriage? Mr. Silvera, I want to ask the question again. Were you happy with your marriage? Let me ask again. Students, you guys not interacting with me, and I'm going somewhere tonight, and you guys are not giving me the chance. You're not building my momentum. You're not interacting with me, my students. Students, get into your elements and start talking back to me. Start talking back to me, students. Students, the class is hot. Students, the class is hot. The gun, Mr. Silvera, and students, the gun that was identified as the gun to have killed Mrs. Silvera is said to be a .20 revolver. And it is further argued, Jamaica, that the .20 revolver is not carried by men, and most men don't use a .20 revolver. The .20 revolver is said to be, Jamaica, the gun that most women carry. So my question then, Jamaica, where were the gunshot wounds? Where were the gunshot wounds? I gather, Jamaica, the gunshot wounds were in the pelvic area. The pelvic area. That is the area closest to here. These side. Many argue that the gun was in, the gunshot wounds were to her head. But then, it's now being argued, or it is alleged, that the gunshot wounds were in these areas. So my question then, Jamaica, if they're arguing that the gun was a 2.0 revolver, if they're arguing, Jamaica, that the gun was, students, you know where I'm going. Students, you know where I'm going. Students. Do you know where I'm going, students? Students. Do you know where I'm going tonight? If the gun is said to be a .2 revolver, one of those guns that is said to be a female, were there any visitors at the Silvera's residence? Were there any visitors at the Silvera's residence? Let me go further tonight, Jamaica. Was Mr. Silvera having an extramarital affair? It is a question to be asked, Jamaica. Let me sit and ask those questions. Were Mr. Silvera, could it be that Mr. Silvera had an extramarital affair? Could it be, Jamaica, that the gun that was used to have killed Mrs. Silvera, could it have been another woman? Could it have been, Jamaica, another woman at the residence? I am asking the pressing, probing questions tonight, Jamaica. Could it have been that sweetheart was there? How comes Mr. Silvera was not around? How comes Mr. Silvera was not around? Coincidentally, Mr. Silvera is not around. My question, therefore, Jamaica, were there any visitors to the Silvera's residence? If there were any visitors to the Silvera's residence, who did the visitor come to visit? Was it Melissa Silvera? Or was it Jolan Silvera? If it is so, Jamaica, were the Silveras having marital issues? Let me repeat the question tonight. Were the Silveras having marital issues? Could it have been Jamaica? Could it have been? Let me ask the questions again. Could it have been Sweetheart come over? Melissa came, found Sweetheart. Sweetheart and Melissa got into a squabble. Sweetheart had her personal gun. Sweetheart killed Melissa. Mr. Silvera got caught up and left the scenes to find an alibi. Could it have been a third person? I want to ask the questions again. You're all hooked to this classroom. Many of my students are saying tonight, because almost 2,000 of you are here, I am asking again. Could this be a third person? But Mr. Silvera, I gather that the police have taken your gun. I gather, Mr. Silvera, that the police have taken your gun. But the gun in question that you walk with is not a .2 revolver. So where did the gun come from that killed Mrs. Silvera? Was a third person on the scene, Mr. Silvera? And if so, Mr. Silvera, who are you hiding? Who are you hiding, Joel and Silvera? Who are you hiding, Joel and Silvera? Why weren't you at home the night your wife died? Where were you the night your wife died? Mr. Silvera, answer the question. Who can attest, Mr. Silvera? If you have a sweetheart, does the sweetheart have access to your home? If you have a sweetheart, Mr. Silvera, does your sweetheart have access to your home? Or the other question, Mr. Silvera, the other question on the other end of the aisle that we must ask Jamaica, and this is very important to ask this question: could Mrs. Silvera have had an extramarital affair? Could Mrs. Silvera had an extramarital affair? And if so, was the extramarital affair with a woman or a man? Students, could Mrs. Silvera have an extramarital affair? And if she did have an extramarital affair, was it with a man or a woman? The question, Jamaica, is a valid question. We need to find who killed Mrs. Silvera. was the woman or a man who killed Mrs. Silvera? If Mrs. Silvera was shot in the pelvic area, could it have been a crime of passion? Could it have been a crime of passion? Let me repeat. If Mrs. Silvera was killed, Jamaica, and the argument that I have gathered that the gun is a gun carried mostly by females, could it have been 1, a crime of passion, 2, an extramarital affair with either a man or a woman, 3, could it have been Mr. Silvera's sweetheart? Could it have been a visitor? A visitor must be questioning all of this. Jamaica, I have to ask the pressing questions. Cost it what it will. Many people will think that I am being out of line to ask these questions, but in asking these questions, you have to make your case, Jamaica. And in making your case, Jamaica, in making your case, I will ask again. Or, Jamaica, another question to be asked. Did the Silveras have a visitor to their bedroom? Let me ask the question again. Did the Silveras have a mutual visitor to their bedroom? Let me ask the question again. Did the Silveras have a mutual visitor to the bedroom? Isn't that a question worthy of asking, Jamaica? Isn't that a question worthy of asking? To the 2,000 people who are here, I would want to ask you. There was no forced entry to the room, no forced entry to the house. Mrs. Silvera was found with gunshot wounds to the pelvic area. Could it have been a mutual visitor to the bedroom? Mr. Silvera? Mr. Silvera, I want to ask another question. Where are the camera footage for your house, Mr. Silvera? The camera footage for your house, where are they? The camera footage for your house, Mr. Silvera, where are they? The night in question, where were you, Mr. Silvera, campaigning with Mark Golding? The night in question that you were not at your house, were you campaigning with Mark Golding? Let me repeat the question, Jamaica. The night Mr. Silvera says that he was not on the compound, were you campaigning with Mark Golding, Mr. Silvera? Answer the question. Where were you? You are part of Mark Golding's entourage. So the question will be asking. So the People's National Party put out a statement today. Could it have been that the cameras broke down and missing camera footage for 4 or 5 hours like Noel Maitland's case? Could it have been, Jamaica, that the camera footage is missing from the apartment for 3, 4, 5 hours as in the case of Noel Maitland? I am asking the questions tonight. The camera footage, where are they? The camera footage, where are they? Are they missing? Are they missing? Tomorrow, or I will start the question to Sergeant Dabney tonight. Sergeant Dabney, I am coming to ask you your questions now. But the People's National Party released a statement today. What an awesome platform this is. Welcome to the platform and stay tuned. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Almost 2,000 people are here. Remember, come the 1st of January, you will not have me on Facebook each night. I will be in my studio giving you bangarang. Here is a statement from the People's National Party, from the General Secretary. Press statement from the PNP regarding developments in Melissa Silvera's tragic death. The People's National Party acknowledges that with grave concern the recent developments regarding the tragic passing of Melissa Silvera. We express our deepest sympathies to the families and friends affected by the distressing event. We firmly believe in the rule of law and support the ongoing investigation by law enforcement agencies to ascertain the truth behind Melissa's untimely death. At this time, it is imperative to allow the authorities to conduct a thorough and impartial investigation into the matter. We affirm the commitment to justice and trust in the legal process to provide clarity and closure in this tragic situation. But my question to the People's National Party is, why hasn't the PNP put Joyland Silvera on a leave of absence from Mark Golding's immediate team? My question to the People's National Party tonight, and it's a reasonable question. I want to ask the question again. I know some of you students are watching me are very uncomfortable with my line of questioning. But my question to the PNP is simply this. You have identified that the death is untimely. But why haven't you asked Joyland Silvera to step aside from the immediate circle of Mark Golding until the investigations are through? Why are the PNP asking Joyland Silvera to step aside for the investigations to be completed? Don't you think that's a reasonable ask, Jamaica? I want to ask again. Don't you think that's a reasonable ask, Jamaica? Jamaica, don't you think that is a reasonable ask? You have identified that the death is untimely. Why then haven't you not, great People's National Party, asked Mr. Joyland Silvera to step aside until the investigations are completed? I believe as a great party, I believe as a people's opposition, don't you think, Jamaica, it is imperative? You asked Isaac Buchanan to step aside when there was something unfortunate done on his end. According, why then have you not asked Joyland Silvera in this matter? Why aren't you asking Joyland Silvera in this matter to step aside and remove himself from the immediate circles of Mark Golding? or is friend and company run PNP? Well, it's not. It's friend and company run all of them. It's friend and company run all of them. But tonight, students, I want to go a little bit further. If you want me to go a little bit further, let me play a song, students, to get you back in the groove. Let me play a song, students, to get you in the groove. Students, let me play a song to get you in the groove. Who wants to get a song tonight until I have a song? Then I am going to go to Sergeant Dabney. There is a song that we play over here. Oh, Lord Jesus.
Well, what if your Bible reads itself to you?
Wow, student.
What this app will do, it gives you the option of reading the Bible or listening to the Bible when you're online or offline. It even has quizzes that will help deepen your knowledge of the scriptures so you can grow in your relationship with God. Check out the app today.
Students, the class is too hot. You know what happened? You're meant to say a song, you know. You know the one there. We roll it away. Sing it away. He roll it away. He roll it. Come on now, hey. He roll it away. He roll it away. He roll it away. He roll it away. When Israel out of bondage came, I see before them lay. My Lord reached out his mighty hand and rolled the seas away. Then forward still it's Jehovah's will. Though the billows dash and spray, with the conquering tread we will push ahead, roll the sea away. We roll it away. He roll the sea away. He roll it away. Somebody just said we have to send Andre to law school. He's very good. Am I that good, students? Students, I look forward to that. But before I do that, students, today, students, you see, I have no problem with people disagreeing with my platform. But what I have a problem is when people call my phone to disrespect me. Last night I asked critical questions like any journalist would. Are sacrifices being made in the PNP? And this morning, a comrade called me to lace me with words. If you have a problem with what I say on my platform, you have no right. You have no right to call my phone to be disrespectful to me. I will not tolerate it. It is my view. I simply asked a question. I simply asked a question. I asked the question. I asked the question in light of all of the recent developments happening in the People's National Party. Mr. Philip Powell's daughter died. The circumstances under which Mr. Powell didn't even visit his daughter's funeral. He didn't even visit his daughter's funeral. And all I am saying to Jamaica, I am simply saying to Jamaica, if you have a problem with my view, one, you don't have to listen to me. Two, you do not have the right to call my phone and be disrespectful. You can send your messages, but you don't have the right to call my phone and be disrespectful to me. Do you understand what I am saying to you? You do not have the right, the privilege to call my phone and be disrespectful. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're a PNP or a Labourite and you are dissatisfied with my commentary, you can turn off your phone. You can unsubscribe to my platform. But remember, when you disappear, 10 others come. Remember, when you disappear, 10 others come, Jamaica. So if you have a problem with my platform, when you disappear, 10 others come. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And on the 1st of January, Jamaica, I will be on my YouTube channel. Now, Jamaica, are you ready for the next 10 minutes of questioning to the police? Are you ready for the next 10 minutes of questioning to the police? I want to speak to Sergeant Dobney. It is alleged that Mr. Dobney is the sergeant on the case. I want to know who called the police. I want to know who called the police. Who called the police? Is Sergeant Dobney a friend of Joylan Silvera? Let me ask the question again. Was it Mr. Silvera who contacted the police? And if so, did he call one of his squaddies? Did he call one of his squaddies? Let me ask the question again. Did he call one of his squaddies? But to you, Sergeant Dobney, tomorrow night, I am going to dissect you. I am not starting the dissecting now because I'm ending the live in 6 minutes. I am ending this live in 6 minutes. I am saying to Jamaica, I want to know, to Mr. Silvera, you found your wife in the bed, lifeless. You believe she was sleeping, and you said, where was the blood? If she had 3 gunshot wounds, where was all that blood? Where was all that blood? But tonight, students, I said some critical things that I want you to think about. I want you to think about these questions. Were the Silveras happy? Were the Silveras happy? 2. Did the Silveras have a mutual visitor to the bedroom? 3. Did Mr. Silvera have an extramarital affair? 4. Did Mrs. Silvera have an extramarital affair? And if she did have an extramarital affair, was it with a man or a woman? But the most important question tonight, Jamaica, that must be answered. Did the Silveras have a mutual visitor to the bedroom? Is that a valid or a good question to ask, Jamaica? Did Mr. Silvera and Mrs. Silvera, did they have a mutual visitor to the bedroom? Is that a valid question to ask, Jamaica? Is that a very good question to ask? Did they have a mutual visitor to the bedroom? Students, I'm going somewhere with this probing. Tomorrow night, I'm going to dissect even further. I see Mr. Champagne telling people, do not speculate. We're not speculating over here. We're asking pressing questions, Jamaica. We're asking the probatory questions as lawyers would. We're asking the probatory questions as lawyers would. Marilyn Kingston? Do not mix me, Marilyn Kingston. I am probing. I never spoke about a threesome, Marilyn Kingston. I ask because many times, many marriages have visitors, and I am simply asking tonight, was there a mutual visitor to the bedroom? And could it have been that the mutual visitor was a woman or a man? Because if Mr. Silvera was not at home, who was the visitor at home? Students, it's a question that must be answered. Because if it's a .2 revolver that was found, to believe it's that of a woman, who was the woman to Mrs. Silvera? Jamaica, you need to know the lifestyle of many of these uptown marriages, and then you will understand where my line of questionings are coming from. Students, I want to say to you all tonight, I am getting somewhere. And if you will allow me, students, I cannot give it all tonight. Students, I have given you a bit of it. But I promise you, students, this is not over. This is just the beginning. I never said anything about a threesome. But if you know about a lot of the marriages in Jamaica, many of them have mutual visitors to the bedroom, both men and women. But I want to ask tonight, was there a mutual visitor to the bedroom? And if that is answered, who is the mutual visitor? Who carried the mutual visitor to the bedroom? Was it Mr. Silvera or was it Mrs. Silvera?